Recording. Okay. So this is a bit of a crutch of mine, but I've accepted it, moved on with my life. Um, there's one question I forgot to attach to uh the questions I sent over. Um, and it's a question I ask everybody who comes on the podcast.
Okay.
If you could recreate a movie and make it Muppets, but you
Oh,
keep one human, what movie is it? What character is it? And who is the actor portraying the character? So, just to give you an idea, the one I always lean on is The Princess Bride. I
okay.
think that would make for an excellent Muppet movie. And at this point in their careers, I would keep Prince Humperdinck as the human and have it played by Adam Driver.
Okay.
I would still probably have Carrie Elwes play like the grandfather at this point, just because I think that would be a nice little nod to the original.
All right, that's right.
But that's usually my go-to when it comes to Muppets, a movie remade with Muppets.
Okay.
So
What about something like Star Wars: A New Hope, but you leave Anthony Daniels, but he's still a robot, but he's in it as Anthony Daniels normally is.
so everyone's Muppets except for Anthony Daniels, who's just kind of playing himself, but as 3PO.
He's 3PO and then everybody else is Muppets. Maybe.
I'm
Or
okay.
let me think. Jess, do you have one?
The Exorcist.
Oh my God.
And the only human I guess would be the priest, and he would just be like confused as hell that everyone, like all the demons, are Muppets.
Okay, that's a lot better.
Okay, so I have gotten a lot of responses. I have not been shocked by any of them until now. I've gotten Schindler's List.
Oh
I've
my gosh.
gotten Pulp
Yeah.
Fiction. I've Rocky Horror Picture Show, which honestly I think would be amazing as long as it's like Tim Curry in his prime. I
And
have
I
never
have
gotten The Exorcist, and I don't know what to do with that. I really don't.
Well,
Welcome back to another episode of First, Last, and Best. We are well and truly on our way to Supernova. That's right, we are on the road to Supernova, September 12th and 13th at Fort Monroe in Hampton, Virginia. Guys, I'm excited. It's going to be a great weekend of some amazing music. And we've had Tim on the show so far. We've had Aaron on the podcast. Heather's joined us. It has truly been quite the road to Supernova. But I feel like we need some bands who have been there. We've talked to Danny and Allie. They have been at Supernova. And I felt like we needed to bring in another band to not just share their experience of Supernova, but actually to share their experience from the beginning. This is a band that I brought up last year during our Bands You Should Know episode right before the festival. And it's a band I will be yelling about for probably as long as they will let me yell about them.
please.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the great state of Mississippi, we have Heaton, we have Jessica, we have members of Flying Raccoon Suit joining us for the podcast today. Heaton, Jessica, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me. I really, really appreciate this.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. This is fun.
So I just want to start with a quick story. Right after Supernova last year, uh, me and Jeff, who has been on the podcast multiple times, uh, we went to a show at the Annex, and it was Catbite, it was Flying Raccoon Suit, and it was Rodeo Boys. And it
Yeah.
was that night that I came up with the idea of doing bands you should know and actually talking to bands and letting them tell you about themselves. giving this platform to others so they can share who they are as a band. And in all honesty, you guys were the first band I wanted on.
Oh,
Oh.
great. Yeah.
Scheduling did not work, however. So, so,
Whew.
but that's okay. It's
Yeah.
it's it's been a long journey to get here, but no matter what, we are here. We are talking about Flying Raccoon Suit, and first we got to start there. The name. I'm assuming it's a Mario reference, but am I right or am I wrong there?
You are correct. And the thing people tell us though is that they try to correct us and say like, shouldn't your name be Tanuki Suit? And the thing we've explained 100 times is like, no, they're two different power-ups. Ours is based on the super leaf that turns you into Raccoon Mario, and Tanuki Suit is the full suit. Ours is just the power-up with the ears and tail. But yeah, it's Super Mario 3 reference.
Duh. All right. Sorry.
You can't out nerd these two. Come on now. Don't come there with the weak shit like that.
Just- I think
Jerks.
Jessica probably has the plush somewhere within her site.
Uh, it's in that room actually. Yep. Nope.
Oh, okay.
It's
But
not
yeah, we
close
have
by.
So so not necessarily insight, but
yeah,
No, but it's over there.
it's around it. It hangs off of our van's rear view mirror too.
nice.
Yeah.
As it should.
Yeah.
So there's not too many ska bands in the deep south. And I don't consider Florida the deep south. I Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, that I consider the deep south. I'll even throw Georgia in there just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Like you have Bad Operation from the New Orleans area in Louisiana, and you guys are basically the only ones I can come up with off the top of my head. How did the band get started? I mean, was ska always the direction, or was it just kind of like you guys stumbled into it?
So it's kind of a funny story because I mean Jessica wasn't in the band in the beginning and we didn't take it very seriously because we were a group of like high school friends and some of us knew how to play horns. And the first thing we actually did and decided let's learn some songs was like a high school talent show, which had to have been terrible. But I think Jessica was there, right?
I was there in the crowd. Yep.
We I think we misunderstood the assignment because the talent show was like for singers and stuff, and we signed up for this thing, but they only let a max amount of like 5 people sign up for the talent show. So they had all these people come up and do their karaoke singing and stuff for the high school talent show. And then it came our turn and we had to like set up all this shit and like there was like drums involved and amps and running extension cords.
It
Everybody
was it was during the American Idol craze. So
Oh,
it was called Hancock Idol, which is the school we went to.
yeah, so we mistakenly signed up for that. I don't know what we were
Yeah,
doing.
they signed up for our high school's American Idol.
Yeah.
we had Loden and it was great. Everyone else is singing and just like all they need is a microphone. We have literally everything.
Exactly. Like, all right, there was somebody announcing people like as they got up, and he had to have been so annoyed at us. He had to kill I don't know how much time while we set everything up and like ran cables and things. But yeah,
That had to take some time.
I would have been frustrated if I was the person watching us set up. But we started for that, and then we started just doing some local shows and things like that. And it was sort of like anyone that was your friend was in the band, so it was way too many people. Like it was the more people on stage than at the shows kind of thing. Uh,
Nice.
yeah,
As it should be at ska shows.
right? You have to go through that. It's a core memory. Um,
Exactly.
but then yeah, when you get out of high school, some people start going to college and some people move away to different states and go to work in different places and this and that, and the band kind of became inactive. Um, and then Joystick, which is a band I'm also in out of Louisiana, asked us if we would play a show, and I was like, sure. And like half of the original people were still around, and I wanted to round it out with the other half. And Jessica and I go way back as friends, and she's a great singer.
Yeah, yeah. So no, I moved to Mississippi from Louisiana in like middle school, and I met Curly, our drummer, and Andy around like the same time. So we
Mhm.
were like 14, 15 little babies, and we used to like sing songs together, here and there. me and Andy. But then years later, he asked me to join to be like a guest vocalist this night at the Dragon's Den in New Orleans, and yeah, no, it was super fun. And that night he asked me to like be in the band permanently, so it was from then on, 2015.
Ooh.
So it's just over a decade now. We've yeah had this with Jessica.
God,
It's been great. That's crazy to think about.
yeah, wow,
Yeah, I try not to think about the time because then it just
time,
makes me feel much, much older than I actually am.
oof.
That's neither here
Yeah.
nor there. Yeah, oh, trust me, I like my shoulder hurts and I don't know why. I'm still
Oh,
trying to figure
same.
that one out. It's been like 2 hours and I'm like, okay, why is this hurting so much? But you know what? It is. Ah, time. How crazy you
Just,
are.
we can all commiserate on that. If I turn my head like this, I don't know why that hurts,
All
but
of a sudden you hurt your neck, just like all of a sudden you have to turn real. If you turn too quickly,
yeah.
that's basically what the show is basically turning into, me complaining about being old, and that's
It,
neither here nor there.
at least when stand up, I don't go.
Exactly.
Not there anymore.
So it's always been ska. Ska was the idea. This is what you guys wanted to do.
For the most part, funny enough, at that talent show, we didn't play ska because they only let 5 people sign up, so our horn players weren't up there with us.
Should have
Um,
snuck them up there anyway. Just like have them in the audience, and then when it's time for the horns to kick in, all they have to do is stand up with their horns. It's fine.
honestly, they should have. They were in the audience though, because I remember them just like shouting stuff at us, and I think they had signs and things. Uh,
Nice.
but yeah, in the beginning, because horns is the one thing that some of us knew how to play, and then everything else, guitar, bass, drums, was
Yeah,
self-taught. So yeah, it was one of those things. We started learning some cover songs and attempting to write songs early on, and yeah, that was kind of the direction. But it took a
I
while
gotcha.
for the original stuff.
I gotcha. So, like, I've always had a ton of respect for ska bands, just because I've been a part of the writing process, but not necessarily for ska. I've always been more along the lines like in a pop punk band,
Yeah,
hardcore for a little while. I was in a rap rock band for a short amount of time, which
really.
was it was weird. Um, I can't regret that because it is how I met my wife, but that's neither here nor there.
Hey, those can be
But
fun.
yeah. But I've always had a ton of respect for ska bands because you're not only just like bass, drums, guitar, vocals. Then you got to get the horns involved. Then there's intricate parts and there's complexity to it. When you were writing the originals, was it difficult to incorporate all of that, or was that something that just kind of came naturally?
Um, in the beginning, it was a little different. Well, it was very different than it was now because I guess like when you're young and you're a teenager or you're a college student, it's like all your friends are just kind of around you all the time, and sometimes you live with them, and sometimes like your roommates and stuff like that, or you can hang out after school. So we would
Yeah,
actually have band practices, and we would sit down and like try to write things. We didn't really know how to when we were teenagers, so we would do it that way. But now the age we are now, we haven't had a full band practice in maybe like 5 years or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
So
was gonna say coordinating that many schedules to even just practice, not much less tour or play a show. I do remember at the show last year, you told me that it had been a while since the full band had participated in an actual show, and I think you guys had everyone that night. I
yeah,
mean, how difficult is it to make that work, to really get everybody on the same page so
Oh,
you have full band?
the
The stars
stars
need to
have
align.
to align. Yeah, for sure. Everybody has really, really I wouldn't say complicated, but like busy jobs and family things now.
Yeah.
Adulting, you know.
yeah. You probably saw us in rare form because not only were all 7 of us there, but I think you saw us with Daisy on keys too.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking that. Yeah, Daisy was there too. It was a fun one.
I
But
was
yeah,
gonna say,
we,
there were a lot of people on stage, and I was like, huh,
I think
been
that
a
was
lot more than possible.
I think that was an awkward one you saw us at too because there wasn't like they didn't play music while changeover was happening, so I think we were doing it in silence.
Yeah, it was weird. I wasn't expecting that from the Annex. A buddy of mine, hyped up that venue pretty well, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. It's good, and it's not a bad venue,
It was great.
but it's just kind of like let's all stand here and watch everyone load out and then load in, and you
Yeah,
know, now we got a tune, guys, and let's get all the mics checked and then everything else, and just like, all right, we're just gonna be patient over here, just be like,
yeah.
and
Oh,
that's like one of the worst parts, especially being on stage and you're getting everything set up, and you got the people arms crossed, just like waiting.
yeah, I'm like, I'm going as fast as I can. I think some of the other bands had changeover music too, but maybe something happened during ours. I don't know. I remember that being particularly weird, but it was a
Yeah,
fun space and a great show.
yeah. That, I think that's one of the better like local areas. I mean, obviously you got like bigger venues like the Norva, the National in Richmond and stuff like that. But like having something like the Annex or even the Camel, where you guys played on the
Yeah.
Bad Time Records tour, which we'll get into that. Don't worry about that. But at what point in your history did you guys did you ever have that kind of like aha, we have something here kind of moment? Or is it just kind of like you guys still are just cruising along, enjoying what you're doing?
I would say whenever, I mean, I always loved FRS, but then whenever, okay, so Nevin, our alto sax player, when he
Mhm.
joined after me, was when like our horn sound and like everything came together for me.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I would have I'd keep playing and writing music even if like no one was listening to it and stuff like that because I mean part of it is it fulfills you, but there was a period uh kind of during COVID where it slowed down enough well in our personal lives that we finished up our album Afterglow and we released that. We tried hard to promote it. I think that's the first time we ever tried making videos and like I was teaching myself video editing and all this.
Yeah.
And then we were like, "Oh, people like this and we can't play any shows to support it." So it's a period of just like sitting on it and like the fact that people loved it like blew our minds that some piece of art we made with our friends like struck anyone anywhere, but then it being like now we're just gonna anxiously wait for a year to play a show in support of this thing
Yeah.
we made.
I
Mm-hmm.
was gonna say, as a person who edits and puts out content and does this stuff, not even for a living, literally for a hobby, the fact that anyone actually listens to anything I say or that I put out in the world is still astounds me to this
Yeah,
very
that
day. I've been
that
doing this
feeling
way too.
it never goes away.
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely.
It's I'm still confused. But at the same time, like I look at like you guys who have been touring, who have been putting out music, who have the courage to kind of do that stuff, and the fact that you're here talking to me about your art really just kind of throws me through a loop. I mean,
Well, we
it,
appreciate you all the same. The fact that somebody cared enough about our music to want to do this.
mm.
It's like
Yeah.
Well, like
it's
that's
fun
the
to
thing.
both of
Like
us.
at the top of the show, like this, the names that I've had so far, just on this run of episodes, still, I don't know why. I wish I knew, but I don't.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
it's just because I asked. They're like, "Hey, do you guys want to talk to me about your music? Because that would be cool."
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know. I don't think it's going to help you in any way, shape, or form. But hey, thanks for doing it.
No,
So,
it's all
yeah,
mutual appreciation. Yeah.
that's the truth. And that it's all DIY at this point. I mean, like everything you guys do and everything like most of these bands do. I mean, everyone's got another job and another thing that they have to do and how they actually make a living. So the fact that you guys are also have the time to still do this, I mean, that's it's fantastic, and I love to see it. So, there was, based on what I could find, about a 5 year gap between Makes a Friend and Afterglow. How do you feel the band changed? Not just like sonically, but like as a band itself in between those two albums.
You want to do it, Jess, or me?
That's a good question. I got to think about.
Well, so Jessica and Nevin joined. Like I said, she wasn't there right at the beginning, but now
Yeah.
like this is our core, and she's like the singer, and like me and her do all the socials and stuff. But half of Flying Raccoon Suit makes a friend. which was a terribly named album that we still are in disagreement about what the title is. But half of that was like written before we had our sax player Nevin and Jessica, so you can tell they're only on half the album.
Yeah.
And Curly records us too, so not only are we becoming better musicians over time, but he's become a better producer over time. So that big gap between those two albums, I think you can tell he got a lot better and we got a lot better. And we put out a song in between those, Static Home, we
Mhm.
dropped in 2018. And then I think some people found that, like Scotttoon Network added it to their playlist, and then a bunch of people found it based on that playlist, and that was like the most people that had ever listened to us. And we're like, oh dang. But yeah, then Afterglow was super collaborative. Like, we were all
That's what I was gonna say was that yeah, I definitely learned how to like come up with melodies and things because Flying Raccoon Suit Makes a Friend was already written, so I just sang like what Andy had on there, kind of just threw it on there last second.
Yeah.
But yeah, but Afterglow, I got to really play around with my own sound for like the first time.
yeah, and a lot of the layering and stuff you did, like she has I am not a good singer by any means, which I'm comfortable with because a lot of the bands I listen to aren't typically good singers, but she
Yeah.
has an ear for like you sing a melody line and this is what the first harmony should be, this is what the second harmony should be, like that.
Yeah.
And Jessica
Or
might
just
not be
it's
able to
fun.
tell you, like what note it is, but she can be like, no, it's supposed to be this. And yeah, it blows my mind. Whereas I can talk about notes and theory and stuff, but I can't do what she does. So we compliment each
I was gonna say, Jessica, your voice is pretty stellar. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, thank you.
So I like you and Allie from Stop the Presses are probably two of my favorite vocalists in ska. It
Oh, I
just you
love her.
guys, she's amazing. Her and
Mhm.
Danny, I love them both.
Mhm.
But you both are just phenomenal, and I love what you guys do.
Oh,
Now,
thank you.
obviously, COVID changed the game a lot. A lot of bands didn't make it out of COVID. What kept you guys going? What kept you wanting to write music and keep pushing forward with the band? What drove you, whereas others did not keep that drive?
I
We
think
just yeah, we just have a passion for it and didn't want to ever end the project, so we tried to find just alternative ways to keep it going in the meantime. Um, which we did quarantine sessions of our videos, which we recorded like our own parts from home and whatnot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, we're also all like I said, we go way back, like t just being just friends at high school, so we're kind of like a little band family almost. And I know for some of us in quarantine, like our tenor sax player Guillermo will be the first to say like he got so excited when we would be in the chat like saying we need to get together and do something for band stuff or we need to do this or that because he was in his apartment alone and had like no social interaction. So he was like, yes,
That
please.
had to be so hard.
Yeah. And then like
Yeah.
our drummer had a really demanding shitty job at the time that actually gave him enough time away from that shitty job to be like, all right, finally, let's finish some of these recording things we've been waiting on. But
I was gonna say, like, I am very fortunate that I had my wife and my son during quarantine, and I was actually still able to work. Virginia considered pest control to be an essential service, so we were able to keep grinding. So,
oh, good.
as much as you know, my social interaction was with really cranky old people.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
boy, do I
yeah,
know how that is.
so it was just, but having being able to come home and having my wife and my son, that very much kept me grounded and getting through the pandemic. So
That's great that you had that. Yeah.
yeah.
It's good to have a
Well,
family that you like.
ain't that the truth? So I'm very fortunate in that regard because my in-laws are amazing. My mom and my stepdad are great people. So I've definitely gotten very fortunate with the family, not just the family I was born into, but the family I've made along the way as well. So
That-
Oh,
That's really sweet.
now,
Yeah.
now if I could only put my bands together, Jesus Christ, things are great right now. So, oh well,
That's,
what can you
I
do?
think that's a hard thing about like a 3 or 4 piece band Not that we have this problem, but I've been in other projects like brass bands or funk bands or whatever, where it's
Mhm.
like maybe one or two people aren't getting along, but when you're like, "Ah, I can't be around him right now, I'm gonna hang out with these eight other people." Whereas like if three people aren't getting along and you have to sit 2 feet up
Yeah.
away from them in a van for 8 hours, then might be a little harder.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, let's get. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep chit chatting. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
So, uh, I have to say, Moonflower is probably one of my favorite ska albums of the last 5 years.
Thank you.
What do you
Thanks.
think was the driving force behind that album? Because after Afterglow and Moonflower, I felt were both very good albums, but I felt like you guys took the next step with Moonflower. Was there something you did differently, or does it just feel like you guys were gelling a little bit better, or
Oh yeah, we just have always had like a lot of chemistry songwriting wise. But yeah, no, it just the driving force. We just wanted to put out an album that sounded the way we felt at the time, and we just yeah, that's kind of how it turned out. We all brought our own little flavor to it this time around.
Yeah, the fact that it was more of everybody made it what it is, I think, because like our drummer is a metalhead, he fronted metal bands and he brought a song to the table like Long in the Tooth, obviously.
I
Our
was going
horn
to say,
have the jazz background, so they wrote some stuff like our trumpet player wrote Sunflower, which has a horn part like I would never have thought of and some changes I wouldn't have thought of. And then I've played in a brass band with two of those guys and we sort of brought some of that influence to the table because we're in the Gulf South doing the sort of swampy street brass band thing. So yeah, a lot of those influences came in, but we had a period of like 5 years where we just didn't stop recording. So
mhm.
since 2018, we hadn't really stopped. We work at such a slow pace because we can't exist like a normal band that's like, we booked a week of studio time. Now we're going to go in the studio and record our album and we're done. We have like some members have kids and we have these demanding jobs and stuff. So our schedule's more like, okay, Curly has 2 hours free on Sunday afternoons and Monday nights. We're going to get a trumpet on three tracks and vocals on one song. And that's the pace we work at.
Yep.
That sounds about right. So I will say this, and it's one of the things I really did love about Moonflower was how diverse of a sound it was. Like it wasn't just like your typical almost like punk with horns or just it's a two-tone album. It really felt like you guys were exploring what ska should be. That it's more than just, punk with horns, or it's more than just like two-tone of the UK, or it really felt like you were taking all these different elements. And I feel like that's exactly what made the album so great. So
Well,
it's
I'm a huge fan of just like shoegaze, doo wop, blues, or just everything. Like
yeah.
I love jazz. I love it all. So I kind of wanted to. I'm glad that we have an album where I can explore, you know, all those different genres.
Yeah, and we love like ska too, so it's always interesting to explore those influences through like the lens of ska or like with ska rhythms like intact and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this year I felt like was pretty big because you guys did get the jump on the southeast leg of the Bad Times record tour. I'm still super bummed that I missed it because
It's okay.
I was supposed to go to the Richmond show at the Camel, but this was a huge tour. It was Kill Lincoln, it was Jer, it was Bad Operation. So what brought about your inclusion onto the tour? Was it just like
Um,
someone from Bad Times just be like, "Hey, you guys want to do this?" Or was it that simple?
I think it was a couple things. Like he did just reach out and see if we want to do that because in a lot of cases, except for the best of the worst, who's doing the Midwest now, he had the openers be people like kind of the region for Bad
Yeah,
Time. So like I think Half Past Two did like West Coast and like Doom Stompers and Pumps I think played in the
it's like,
Northeast.
yeah.
So there was that, but then also unrelated, we dropped a song Mothership last year.
Yep.
which after he asked us to be on the tour, he had the idea of doing the tour
Oh,
comp of everybody, contributing a song to the Spinal that Bad Time put out that hadn't been pressed on physical media before. And we had just put out this song that hadn't been pressed anywhere. So it was kind of perfect for that.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah. So we didn't plan it that way, but it worked out great because if he had asked us to be on the tour and then to contribute a song, we would not have had a song ready in time.
Exactly.
I
0%.
was gonna say it's kismet, man. That's exactly what it is.
It was so perfect.
So what was like I never got the tour. That was never in the cards for me, unfortunately.
Oh,
What was your favorite part of doing this tour?
man, having to seeing like my favorite bands that blew my mind every night, like front and center.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I mean, Bad Time especially, it's like a big family experience and stuff like that. I mean, there's videos of the last show of Jared playing their last song and then everybody from the tour being up on stage and that sort of thing for it. That was great. Also like we never get to see each other just like as a group of friends. So that was the first time this year we'd played shows. So it was great just being able to hang out with them for a week. We actually ended it by going to Universal Studios and like a theme park, having a little family vacation with them.
Nice.
Yeah,
Aw, that's adorable. I
we all
love
got
that.
we all got chafed together.
Yeah, we took a
Yay! Oh, it's wonderful.
we took a poorly planned log ride and then walked around in jeans and shit.
Yeah, it was a
Oh
water log
no.
ride.
That
Was
is the absolute worst.
We did it in the middle of the day where we still had the rest of the day to do things. So,
So it was fun.
yep.
Now it's a story forever.
Oh my God, I hate that when that happens.
It
It
was
is,
great.
this is why I try to avoid water rides at theme parks, unless
Oh,
I know I'm planning it.
That
I
So
too.
know now.
never again.
Yeah, never again.
No, it has been about 3 years since Moonflower's come out. Mothership dropped last year.
Hmm.
Is there anything on the horizon as far as new music is concerned, or is that because
Yeah.
Jessica's looking really coy right now, and I'm just
No, say, yeah,
like,
we're in
I'll
the
never tell.
I'll never tell. Yeah, no, we are.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
we're,
okay.
we're always working. I will say our recording sessions feel cursed because we try to get together and record like literally every week. So it's hard to anticipate when we'll be done or even
Something bad happens more than half the time.
yeah, I'm not exaggerating. The last 8 sessions we had planned, and it's not even the same person. But they've all had to get canceled. Like
Yeah.
Curly was sick, Clay was sick, then Clay had car issues, then Curly had family stuff, and then like Jessica had to work, and all these things.
Yeah,
Like,
I had to work and I got sick. Yeah, I
yeah,
keep getting sick.
but yeah, they
That
feel cursed. But
sucks.
we're constantly working, constantly writing. I was sending we were sending lyrics back and forth to each other just yesterday and little sound
Nice.
clips. But so it's impossible to tell when it's happening, but we're trying to make it sooner rather than later. Not
We're
I
finally.
got you.
cooking. We're cooking.
We're cooking.
I'm just gonna sit back and let y'all cook. I'll still be here when it comes out. So
It's like a slow gumbo. You know, we're cooking it like a slow gumbo.
I love
That's the
that.
title, like a slow gumbo.
That is about the most southern thing I've heard in my entire life.
Good.
Well, when it comes to music, anyway. It's like a gumbo. Yep, you can
It's
tell you guys are from the South.
good. Yeah, I like to let that influence bleed in because you can definitely tell if a band has come from like say the DC like hardcore scene and stuff like that, and they've got
Oh yeah,
Discord records like in their DNA and stuff like that. But there's not a
yeah.
lot coming out of the Gulf South, so I do
There
like
really
some
isn't.
banjo,
I
some
mean,
banjo in there, some tuba.
I would love that. There seems to be a very like small, if not just non-existent amount of tuba and clarinet in ska music is all I'm saying. I,
That's
I I think there's a way to get that in there. I don't know how.
it.
I've never written ska before. So I feel like it can happen though.
Oh, it'll happen.
I'll leave that to the experts though, and that's not me. So, um, you guys have any shows on the horizon, or is it just
When does
depends on
depends on when this episode airs. When does this?
this is coming out, I believe, in it's either coming out in 2 weeks or in mid-August. I don't know. It all kind of depends on my recording.
Okay.
So,
So we're definitely playing Fest 24, and I'll just
right. Oh my God, I can't believe I
Mm-hmm.
forgot that. Okay.
no,
Mm-hmm.
it's all good, and I'll say it even though I don't know if our album flyer will be ready yet, and then we'll know if you made it to the end if you know this. But we're gonna be traveling to Fest with Joker's Republic and Sad Snack, so we're gonna be doing a few
Ooh,
dates through the South with them over, which will be really cool because
that's
Yes.
that's gonna be fun because Joker's is playing a pre-Supernova show at the Vanguard.
oh
I
yeah,
think a day or two before, with Murphy's Law
oh
and I think like two other bands. So, and then I know the Boy Detective's playing on Saturday at
yeah.
Supernova. So,
There's a lot of great ones. We're already talking about collaborations that or that
nice.
other bands want to do or that we want to do with other bands because Fest is always that same thing. Like
Oh yeah.
with ska, especially just having guests in the little ska world like pop up in other sets and stuff.
I was gonna say I saw some of the videos from last year. Jer literally jumping in all over the place, and then
Yeah,
Austin from Joker's Republic. I think obviously their set, but I think he jumped in on like one or two other sets as well.
I think so. And
So
I did trombone on like 3 or 4 sets. Um yeah, and
that's awesome.
Jessica's sang with other bands, but yeah, it's a great time.
That sounds. It's where is it in Florida? I forgot.
Gainesville.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could get down there, it's not gonna happen, but
It's
that'd be
I
really
know.
cool. Anyways, um, so that's gonna wrap it up for this week. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad that after nearly 8 months of trying to make this happen, we finally did. This really, I've got no words.
The stars
Um,
finally aligned.
the stars finally aligned, just like having all of your members on stage at the same time.
Exactly.
It all worked out how it's supposed to work out. All right. So that's it for this week's episode, First, Last, and Best. Stay tuned next week. It will either be The Boy Detective or something else. I don't know. Everything's kind of like up in the air right now because as I'm recording, I have a plan, but that plan has also gone sideways a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Regardless, Jessica, thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
having
much.
us.
So check out their albums. They're streaming everywhere. Check them out on social media. It's Flying Raccoon Suit. No, they actually mean it. It is Flying Raccoon Suit. They didn't get it wrong. Stop. Guys, stop. Okay, that's all I'm
Stop.
saying.
Stop.
So we'll be back next week with more episodes. And yeah, that's gonna be it for us today. Good night, everybody.